What if the next big Samsung Foldable doesn't look very different, but still feels brand new? Well, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 might be exactly that. Something familiar, but quietly upgraded in all the right ways. And the changes might surprise you, more than you think. Let's get into it. So, Samsung's next big foldables, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and the Z Flip 7, are just around the corner. And right before launch, we now have solid details about the Fold 7's display, design, and even the processor inside it. And here's what stands out. Samsung didn't exactly redesign the Fold 7 from scratch, but they may have done something smarter. Let's talk display first. According to a reliable source, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 will have the same physical size as the Galaxy Z Fold 6 Special Edition. Now, if you've never heard of that version, it's because it was only sold in South Korea and China. It wasn't available in most countries. That special version had a few upgrades compared to the regular Fold 6, and it was clearly built to compete with foldables from Chinese companies like Oppo and Honor. Now here's the twist. While the Fold 7 is the same size as that special model, Samsung has made the bezels thinner. So even though the body didn't grow, the screen size did. The Galaxy Z Fold 6 had a display size of 7.6 inches. The new Fold 7 bumps that up to nearly 8.2 inches. It's not a massive change on paper, but in real-world use, that's going to feel a lot more spacious, especially when watching videos or multitasking. Even leaked images show the Fold 7 looking noticeably larger. That's mostly due to the thinner borders around the screen and slightly different proportions. It won't feel like a Fold 6 clone. In fact, for many users, this might be the first time they get something close to that limited special edition experience, without needing to import it from overseas. Now let's talk about power. There was a lot of back and forth over which processor Samsung would use in the Fold 7, but we finally have confirmation. It'll be the same Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy, also known as the Snapdragon 8 Elite, that's inside the Galaxy S25 series. That's great news for anyone who was worried about performance. Samsung seems to be skipping Exynos once again, at least for this model. And to be honest, most users will be happy with that. Expect better battery efficiency, improved cooling, and fast performance overall. Now here's the thing. Samsung is going into this launch with low sales expectations. Foldables still haven't exploded in popularity like regular smartphones. Some brands are even stepping back from the foldable game entirely. But Samsung's still pushing forward, likely because they've been leading the space for a while now. They know this isn't going to sell like the Galaxy S series, but they're fine with that. Have you ever wondered what Google's next big Pixel phone might look like before it's even announced? Well, thanks to a leaked prototype of the Pixel 10 Pro, we're getting a very early peek. And it's not just pictures. We've got some real info here. The specs, design changes, and even the default ringtones. Let's break it all down. So, first things first, the Pixel 10 series might be announced on August 13th, and fans are already excited. But what's really new this time? The big upgrade lies in the processor. Unlike past Pixel phones that used Samsung's chips with small changes from Google, the Pixel 10 Pro will come with a brand new chip designed completely by Google. It's called the Tensor G5, and it's built from scratch. Here's the cool part. This chip isn't made by Samsung like before. It's made by Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, which is the world's top chip maker, using a super advanced 3-nanometer process. To be exact, their third-generation 3-nanometer process called N3P. This should make the chip more powerful and energy efficient. Now, a small mistake in the leaked info showed it was made with a 5-nanometer process, but that's just a typo. The real one is 3-nanometer confirmed. Let's talk specs. According to the leak, the Tensor G5 has the following setup. Cortex-X4 core for top performance, 2 Cortex-A725 cores for balance, 3 more Cortex-A725 cores for extra power, and 2 Cortex-A520 cores to save battery on light tasks. The phone in the leaked pictures is a DVT 1.0 model. That stands for Design Verification Test, which basically means it's an early prototype, not the final product. The code name for the chip is Blazer. Kinda cool. This model also packs 16 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. That's more than enough for most people. It's running Android 16, but it's not the quarterly platform release 1 version, which means it's likely a test build. The modem inside is the Exynos 5400 5G modem, the same one used in the Pixel 9 series. That may disappoint some since it's not a new modem, but it still supports strong 5G speeds. Now let's talk design. One of the first things you'll notice is the camera bar on the back. It now stretches closer to the edge of the phone than before. And the metal frame surrounding the rear glass looks thinner. The camera bump itself looks slightly thicker, so expect it to stand out more. Another small change is the SIM card tray. In the Pixel 6 Pro, it was at the bottom left. Now, in the Pixel 10 Pro prototype, it has moved to the top left side. Not a major deal, but interesting to see how the design has evolved. And here's something fun. The default ringtones and sounds have also leaked. Is Apple really changing everything except the iPhone name? It sounds like a big shift is coming at Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference this year, and while their software is getting a major rebrand, the iPhone 17 may not follow the same path. Let's break down what's changing, what's staying the same, and why Apple isn't ready to call the next iPhone. The iPhone 26. Every year, Apple makes headlines during its Worldwide Developers Conference, usually held in June. And this time, something different is expected. According to well-known industry insider Mark Gurman, Apple plans to rename its operating systems starting this year. That means iOS, macOS, iPadOS, and Vision OS will begin to use numbers based on the year they release, similar to how car companies name their new models. So for example, instead of iOS 18, we might see iOS 25 for 2025, the right. Idea behind this is partly marketing. Numbering software after the year makes it sound more futuristic and new, even if the actual update isn't very big. It also gives Apple a bit more room to push out smaller changes without people feeling disappointed. But here's the twist. This change won't apply to the iPhone 17. That's right. While Apple might call its new iPhone software something like iOS 25, the phone itself will still be called the iPhone 17, not the iPhone 26. Now you might be wondering, why not just match the names? Samsung did that back in 2020 when it skipped from the Galaxy S10 straight to the Galaxy S20 to match the year. So what's stopping Apple? According to Gurman, there are a couple of big reasons. First, Apple knows how attached people are to the iPhone's naming. It's simple, it's familiar, and changing it now could confuse or even annoy a lot of customers. Second, tying the phone name to a specific year might not be a good idea in the long run. Imagine you're buying an iPhone 23 in 2026. Just hearing the name would make it sound old, even if the phone itself is still really good. Apple doesn't want that kind of thinking to hurt sales. It's all about perception. This move also helps Apple separate its hardware and software updates more clearly. By making the software feel fresh and futuristic, Apple can create excitement, even if the iPhone itself doesn't get a huge change. And speaking of changes, we do know a few things about the upcoming iPhone 17 series. Most models are expected to come with 12 GB of RAM, except maybe the base version. That's a nice boost for performance and multitasking. Design changes are also likely, though details are still under wraps. But what's even more interesting is that Apple's new software might look and feel a lot more like Vision OS, the operating system built for the Apple Vision Pro headset.